Hey guys, my name is Mannequin and welcome back to Season 2 of Remixing from Scratch. Today, we're gonna have some fun. Okay, so I've got this bass line, kick, and vocals basically ready to go.
Don't be shy, baby, if you wanna be with me.
So, bass is not final by any means. I'm probably gonna tweak that up a whole lot because typically with my trance tracks, I start out with a bass line, then I build up around it, and then I basically go back to the bass line and redo it. So that's a lot more solid. Just don't, if you don't like this bass line, don't worry. This is the draft version of the bass line. So, for now, I'm going to actually add another synthesizer here, and we're gonna have some fun with pads. So I could actually, nope, I don't need it. I just need to figure out what note it's on. It's on C sharp, that's right. Okay, so create region, and then we're gonna just actually, you know what? We'll just go like this for now. So we'll get one at, go there. Okay, so we're gonna get one of these. Actually. And the reason I duplicate a track is just so I have some simple things accessible to me. Like, since I duplicated the track, I have the sidechain compressor already there, and then I have a nice EQ on there, which I'm probably gonna turn off. And then I have the same plugin I was using before. And then I can go back to this one, and then we're gonna go find a pad here. Sort by pad, and that'll make things a little easier. Now, some of these pads are really good. Some of them are kind of like not what I would use. I mean, a lot of people of other styles would definitely use them, but some of them are not ones that I particularly would want to use. So we might have a little bit of trouble. There we go. So we have two. That's basically just an octave. That's a fake chord. And then we'll go here and start cycling through some of the pads. So, I don't know. We'll do this one.
Don't be shy, baby. Don't be shy, baby, if you wanna be with me. So tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss. Don't be shy, baby, if you wanna be.
And this one has too much of a whoo sort of sound, so I think I'm going to go to something more airy. Let's see.
Don't be shy, baby, if you wanna be with me. So tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss. Don't be shy, baby, if you wanna be with me. So tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss. Don't be shy, baby.
Okay, so we'll go with this for now.
If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this.
And okay, so we have this pad going on. I think I'm going to add a third note to this little octave here, so we can kind of get some uniqueness to it. It'll really come out when we start doing a chord progression.
Don't be shy, baby.
We could do this.
Don't
Yeah.
be shy, baby. Don't be shy, baby, if you wanna be with me. So tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss. Don't
And then we'll go to turn off the boost here so I can actually turn the volume back up.
be shy, baby, if you wanna be with me. So tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss.
Okay, so we have a basic pad going there. Now, like I said, a whole lot of this is just foundational stuff. because my track doesn't have any structure yet, really. I'm just kind of getting a feel for the vocals, what they'll sit well with, and what's really going to be going on later in the track. So like it's just foundational stuff for the rest of my track. So we're going to do the same thing again. Make sure the bus compressor is not... And then here is where we have some fun. Okay, so I'm actually going to pop open this here, and now we're going to start doing an arpeggio, because this is one of the fun parts. Now, I'm not going to use an arpeggio here because that's kind of cheap, and they sometimes get really wacky results when you hit the wrong notes. So I'm actually going to build an arpeggiated sequence, but first I should probably go... well, let's do this one. I like this one. So we'll start off with this one, which of course needs to be turned down, way down in volume. Okay, so first I need to loop this. So what I'm gonna do is go grab this one, have it start up on the main note, bring it down an octave here, and then bring it up by 7, because I know that'll sound nice. And then I'll go down to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, Okay, so I'm actually thinking about I might just do a shuffle on this, which is a type of offsetting the notes that are not dead on. Let's see what this kind of sounds like. Of course, they're like way too quiet, you can't even hear them. So we'll pull this up a little. Pull up the... Actually, we're going to pull up how much the cutoff affects this one. So, where is it? Filter, cutoff, envelope. Here we go.
Don't be shy, baby. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Let's try this.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy, baby.
Okay, so that's kind of... I'm not liking that arpeggio right now, but I'll tweak it up later. I think I'm going to use this right now to find a pluck sound that I want to start with. I think I'm going to start from scratch on this one, so reset, and then I want this up an octave, I'm sure. And then I'll go to the envelope. This one's already mapped to the volume. I'm going to set the sustain to 0, and then decay will be nice and out. And then I'm going to set the unison to 4 voices, and set this to... Actually, you know what? Let's set it to 2 voices, and then we'll set this one to 3 voices. Turn on free so that they don't start at the exact same time. Turn on the spread detune, turn up the pan, turn up the stereo on this one, and the detune's already good, so. It's not doing that much. Okay, so now what I want to do is kind of... I think we're going to do a nice simple filter here. I'm going to turn down the cutoff all the way, and go into layer 1, filter 1, and then we're going to use this routing to change the cutoff level with the second envelope. So voice envelope 2. Sorry if I'm going a little fast here, even though it's a new synthesizer. I'll try to slow down a little bit so you guys can catch everything I'm doing. And so anyway, what I've got here is I've got the cutoff, and I am mapping it to the envelope, so I could do basically the exact same thing we did with the other one. Pull down sustain, open decay, and then just pull this up a little. Okay. And then I could turn down the volume of this because it's way too loud. And turn on some effects. Not sure how good this is going to sound off the bat, but we'll just go. And we'll make these 1/4 dotted.
Wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this.
Okay, so that's actually a terrible arpeggio. So I'm just gonna, okay, I'm gonna leave this here, open this up a bit. So it would kind of go like this.
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this.
And then I'm gonna EQ this in a second here, but
Don't be shy, baby. If you want.
and reset this. Whoops. Recall default. Oh, did I seriously just save that as a default? Oh my goodness. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix that later, but for now I'll just go like this and pull these down somewhere. Darn it, I can't believe I saved that. Okay. Pull these down to like there and there. Okay, and then turn these off. Okay, and then just save that as the default again. Yeah. Okay, so I'll fix that later. I'll get rid of that. Okay, anyway. Cut that down and then they're gonna filter.
If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss.
Okay, so now I could actually go through and yeah, go back.
Don't be.
Okay, I'm just experimenting right now. Let's see if this works.
Don't be shy, baby. Don't be shy, baby. Don't be shy, baby. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me.
Okay. Sorry, I was so quiet there. And there's no real reason behind. I'm just kind of like thinking, do I want a note higher? Do I want it lower? How much higher do I want it? And I probably will spread this out later, and I'm definitely going to rearrange some of the note patterns later. But for now, I'm just trying to find something to work with. Let's see here. Okay. So what should I do next? I've got the pad and I've got the ARP, and
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me.
turn up the release on this. And And then we'll set this to mono, and then we'll make it glide some.
I wanna feel your kiss. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me.
And then my bass is taking a bit too much of the mids. So we're gonna fix that. Pull that out there.
I wanna feel your kiss.
Okay.
Don't be shy, baby.
Nah, I don't like that.
Wanna be with me. So tell me you're in this. I wanna
Okay. So, hold on a second here. I think, okay, so I've been running this for 15 minutes, but I think I haven't done quite enough yet. So, I do want to grab the vocals, and actually I have a really awesome idea for what to do with the vocals. But I think part of the problem we're having here is there's a bit too much focus on the synthesizers. Everything's not layering quite right. So I kind of need to bring the vocals back up to the center, front and center. And so I could pull these down actually to fix that.
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss.
So that's part of the problem. And then I think the one of the other problems here is my kick drum is nowhere near tight enough. So part of the problem with the kick drum is that the high end is very sad and floppy. It doesn't sound like there's a nice click there, but it's not enough. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take this right now. Take some of that flab there and cut it out, just kind of tighten it up a bit. And then in terms of the mix,
Wanna feel your kiss. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me.
and then we're gonna duplicate this and go like this, and take this EQ here. Actually, we'll get rid of that. Actually, put that up there. Pull this all the way up here, so we have this nice, really snappy part. And then we'll go through with our wonderful friend Camel Crusher to get a very, very, very clicky click there. So we're gonna have to mix this down quite a bit.
I wanna feel your kiss. Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me.
So that makes a huge difference there.
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me. So tell me you're in this.
And this has nowhere near enough delay. So we'll just layer on another delay.
Me. So tell me you're in this. I wanna
And it also sounds, it doesn't sound plucky enough. So I think what I'll do is I'll take this, we'll do envelope 3 here we'll use. We'll modulate the pitch of layer 1, voice pitch. We'll modulate it all the way up to the heavens with the envelope 3. And what we're gonna do is take the sustain down all the way and make a really short decay.
Don't be shy, baby.
And if I turn off, Kind of leave it as is. And then we're gonna need to cut some of the low end out, because that pitch thing, the pitch modulation I did there, it does actually affect the low end a bit. So.
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss.
So this is what I consider the bare bones of this track. So this is what we're gonna use to, weren't excited about how the trance sounded. I'm sure you've heard some of my other, oops, sorry about that. I'm sure you've heard some of my other trance tracks. Actually, I'm not sure, never mind. If you've heard, oh my goodness, I keep on blowing into my microphone. Okay, if you've heard any of my other trance tracks, you'll know that they don't sound as pathetic as this. Typically my trance tracks sound a lot bigger. They sound a lot more epic. This is a foundation. It gives us an idea of what we're going to be working with. I already said that before, but more so, it's kind of like the foundation for your track. So, if you listen to the original track here, actually, I might be able to pull it up. Yep, here we go. This is what the original track sounds like.
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me.
And then when you listen to mine,
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in this.
it sounds like trance. Mine sounds like trance. That's the whole idea of what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get my mind out of the idea of the original track and get it into the mindset of having a trance track. So it doesn't sound amazing, but it's a foundation for a trance track. And there's a lot more epic stuff that's going to be implemented later. I'm going to have to experiment around just to kind of see what direction I'm going to end up, taking this. But this is, like I said, the foundation for what we're going to be doing and what we're going to be working on. It just, it does kind of seem like I was stumped a little bit earlier, but that's basically because it's the testing the waters stage. I'm just trying to build a little skeleton for everything to work off of. Then what I'll do is I'll get something like, I'll find an epic downlifting background thing that goes like something like that. And then from there, I'll be like, oh, that's awesome. Now, if only I had a bass that had this kind of tone, and then I swap out this bass for that bass that's doing exactly what I get inspired from that one awesome part. And then essentially what you do is you take inspiration from the improved parts, and then you build the track based off of that instead of going from scratch and doing everything from the ground up. You basically build your foundation so that you have something to kind of work with. Like you have an arp there, you have a bass here and here, and you have a pad here, so that you kind of you have something for every single part so that it doesn't sound empty when you switch something out for something better. And then we just kind of go through and we cycle through different ideas for bass lines. Typically with a trance track, I'll go through 3 or 4 different ideas for the bass line. And then for the chord progression, I'll typically go through 5 or 6 different options, and I'll end up keeping around 3 of them that I'll layer on top of each other. And then for the pad, that's a combination of, sometimes I'll use an arpeggio and then an actual pad behind it. And it's a very long process for me to get a trance track, but it's based entirely off my inspiration. So one of the trance tracks is one of the styles that I actually I don't have too much trouble with it, just because it's very easy for me to hear one part of a trance track and think, oh, and then I could add this. And then it just kind of fits in really nicely. So it won't seem that way to you guys when I go through this project, but chances are I won't be as stumped I was with the last track in the previous season of remixing from scratch. So I'll have a lot more direction in this one because I'm a lot more used to trance, and it's a sound that I'm a lot I like a lot more, and it's something I listen to a lot more often. So it's kind of like it's something that I'm used to. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was helpful. But look forward to the next video. I'm trying to release them once every Monday. I might have time to release them more often, depending on if I have ones recorded as backups and I have more recorded than I actually have to release that week. Then I might release extra ones. So and you might see multiple things. But otherwise, the plan is, one every Monday. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.